Hello, this is Regina. How does mindfulness relate to mental health? Does it? What is the mind? Where is the mind? What is thought? We know the brain. The brain is a physical organ that lives inside our skull. It is something that can be measured, and at times it's something that can be touched. But where is my mind? I can't grasp it, hold it, and show it to you. The contents of the mind are our beliefs, imaginations, memories, behaviors, attitudes. And the mind permeates every cell of our body, all 50 trillion cells that have somehow agreed to be you. The mind is not limited to the brain. What are thoughts? Thoughts are things, powerful things. Thoughts come with their own energy pack. A thought occurs, the nerve endings in the brain fire, and a chemical is released into our body. That is why the quality of our thoughts, of our thinking, has a direct relationship to our health, both physical and mental health. We think between 60 and 80,000 thoughts a day. Most of those thoughts are below the conscious level. And the kicker is, 90% of those thoughts we thought yesterday. Thoughts have their addresses in the deep grooves of the gray matter in the brain. And all these thoughts have a feeling tone. Anger feels like this. Joy feels like this. We cannot control our feelings and our thoughts. They come. They happen to us. But we can be aware of them. Perhaps you've heard of the default mechanism of the brain. That is in regard to the mind when it is not focused, not have a concentrated or a gathered attention. It's the mind that we lapse into when we're waiting for the light to turn green, when we're standing in line, perhaps even when we're washing the dishes. It is here we get stuck in the quagmire of repetitive, judgmental, negative thinking. We get stuck in a kind of trance where we believe what we think without examining the thoughts. Thoughts are real, but are they true? And this is where we begin our investigation of mindfulness. Einstein said, "We cannot solve a problem with the same mind that created it." There is research that we have, in fact, three brains. The head brain, which lives in the head, the gut brain, and the heart brain. The gut brain, in fact, has as many neurons as the head. And the heart, through which all things first touch us, has the capacity to maintain its nature, that of being open, receptive, empathetic, and compassionate. 4 of the 5 senses live in the head, and mostly we identify ourselves as living somewhere behind our eyes. We live from this head up, and to some extent treat this body in service of the dictates of our thoughts, our mostly unexamined, unquestioned thoughts as they yank us around. In my experience, there is nothing more seductive than my own thoughts, nothing that can so swiftly and deftly remove me from any experience. Yet the ability to attend fully in any given moment is our evolutionary inheritance It is our birthright. Simplistically, in Chinese medicine, there is yin and yang energies. Yang energy is active. It is hot, so it rises up, and it's responsible for overthinking and for anxiety. And the way that it's been treated to integrate this yang energy back and through the body is through the feet. We are embodied beings. The portal to free ourselves from incessant thinking is through the body. It is through the body we connect with this moment, the only moment where I can ever touch life. Feel what you feel. It is not easy to feel as a direct experience without thought, naming the feeling, perhaps remembering its history and storyline. As a simple experiment right now, look at 5 things. As you do, notice one detail of each. Don't belabor it. Look at 5 things. And now feel 4 things. Perhaps the temperature of the air or cloth against your skin. Can you hear 3 things? Let them come to you. You may not be in an environment to smell 2 things, but notice if it's a neutral scent. And lastly, what is the taste in your mouth? How does your mouth taste? This is a small way of being present, a mini vacation from random, unfocused thought. Headlines before this pandemic spoke of an epidemic of depression and loneliness. Our culture does not emphasize self-compassion, self-acceptance. We need not suffer as we do, from regret and loss, from anxiety and worry. This being human is to be subject to illness and loss, aging and death. It is not a personal failure that we age, that we are vulnerable. The poet Rumi, who lived in the 1200s, wrote a first line of a poem. Out beyond the ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. I'll meet you there. There is in us a place of no confusion, of unshakable knowing, a wellspring of generosity, empathy, acceptance. But there is not a yellow brick road to get there. There are as many ways to approach mindfulness as there are blades of grass. There is no right way, so there is no wrong way. There are formal and informal practices of walking, standing, sitting, lying down, eating, washing, waiting, breathing. Mindfulness is not another self-help program, not another thing to do, to strive for, to achieve. It is also not a bliss trip. Ask yourself, how am I? Let it come to you. How we are is already here. Can it be known? With a full heart, I encourage you to do what you love, intentionally, deliberately, mindfully, even for 1 minute a day. Let yourself be struck dumb by awe or by the hilarity of your child. When the mind is accelerating and will not be tethered, another simple form of the mindfulness of self-compassion, or to use these phrases or any of your choosing, but those that have some resonance. May I be safe and protected. May I be healthy in body and in mind. May I be happy. May I live with ease. This is not Dorothy clicking her heels, there's no place like home, and home appears. It is one tool to stabilize the mind, to train in gathering your attention and focusing the mind. When you go for a walk, can you for an instance communicate through your feet your gratitude for the Earth Mother? Are you interested to fully taste the first sip of coffee or an entire mouthful of food before swallowing? Can you look in the mirror and see yourself as if for the first time? In the morning, when you first realize you are awake, can you say, "I am alive," and pause to feel what you feel? Perhaps even place a hand on your belly and on your heart and offer yourself compassion. Tell yourself, "I love you." In the history of this planet, there has never been, nor ever will be, another you. It is our turn to walk the earth. Can we be present for it? Thank you.